Good day everybody. Today we'll be going over the battle system changes for Dark Knights in the upcoming expansion, Stormblood. The Unholy Sentinels of Ishgard have seen significant adjustments as a result of the new role action system, as well as the inclusion of a new resource that makes their playstyle more dynamic. So without further delay, let's get started. With the arrival of Stormblood, Dark Knights have also gained their own UI element in the form of the Blood Gauge, which fuels the usage of the Dark Knight's new abilities. And unlike Paladins and Warriors, the gauge does not suffer penalties for entering or leaving the tank stance grid. Blood Gauge accumulation only becomes relevant at level 66, when a new trait allows Blood Weapon to generate Black Blood on auto attacks and weapon skills, and Blood Price to generate Black Blood on damage taken. Keep in mind that Blood Price now also has a grit requirement, preventing the usage of both skills simultaneously. This means Blood Price becomes your primary tool for generating Black Blood while tanking, and Blood Weapon for generating Black Blood while off-tanking. The next and perhaps most notable change for veteran Dark Knights is the removal of the MP draining component of Darkside. Keep in mind that it still costs MP to activate, and natural MP regeneration is still negated while active. Two of the Dark Knight's old weapon skills have also received adjustments. Firstly, Siphon Strike, which now benefits from Dark Arts, significantly increasing its potency. And Soul Eater, which now gains a Dark Blood generation component to help Dark Knights build the Blood Gauge as part of their rotation. The old level 50 finisher Delirium no longer exists, and had its name carried over to the first new Stormblood ability, now functioning as a tool to restore MP as well as extend the duration of Blood Weapon and Blood Price, at the cost of 50 gauge. Dark Knights also gain two new weapon skills: Quietus, an AoE attack that strikes all nearby enemies, and Blood Spiller, an extremely powerful single target attack. It's worth noting that both abilities require Blood Gauge to activate, instead of the usual TP requirement associated with weapon skills, and while both benefit from Dark Arts, Blood Spiller also gains a significant potency increase when used under Grit. And finally, the signature action of level 70 Dark Knights comes in the form of the Blackest Night, an instant mitigation ability that scales with the Dark Knight's health, and can be used not only on yourself, but on other party members as well. It's worth mentioning that the Blackest Night grants a significant amount of Blood Gauge once the effect wears off, and while the recast time is fairly low, it comes with an extremely high MP requirement. Of course, as part of the combat system overhaul, not all of the Dark Knight's abilities survived the journey into Stormblood. A significant amount of them were repurposed or merged to become new role actions, now accessible to all three tanks. Among them, Low Blow receives an honorable mention, now becoming the streamlined, off-global cooldown stun for all tank jobs. Reprisal also makes the list, losing its parry requirement to become the new, standardized mitigation weapon skill. And lastly, Dark Dance, now being transformed into the new tank role action, Anticipation. So, how hyped are you for the new Dark Knight? The addition of a new resource certainly adds an extra bit of flavor to the job, and the adjustments to Darkside should make it far easier to maintain in most situations. That being said, it all rests on how the new gauge feels to manage during combat, but I'm afraid we'll have to wait until Stormblood to see. But in the meantime, how do you feel about these changes? Will you embrace the darkness within as you travel to the Far East? Let me know in the comments, and I hope to see you next time.